In this series, you'll investigate a brutal attack on the royal family. You'll find out who dared to commit such a daring act as the heroes uncover the culprit. But can they defeat him? We're about to find out. The palace was attacked by assassins. Yui, the knight, and Luna defended the king. After defeating them, they found a badge on one of the assassins. News of this had already spread throughout the palace. The knight asked Yuya to help him stop the rebellion. When the boy wanted to approach the king, Lexia intercepted him in the corridor and suggested taking a walk through the city. The badge revealed to the heroes that the attacker was Lexia's older brother. Luna was against the idea of a walk, as it could be very dangerous, especially in such a tense and confusing situation. She suggested that the princess stay in the safety of the palace while she organized a tour for the boy. Hearing the whole argument, the knight decided to resolve the situation and offered to introduce the guest to the hustle and bustle of the city on his own. In the end, they decided to go together. The girls would accompany Yuya directly, while the knight would watch from afar to ensure their safety. As they went for a walk, a new argument arose between the girls. Lexia wanted Yui to accompany her to the jewelry store, while Luna wanted to visit the blacksmith shop. It didn't seem right to choose one over the other, as it might offend one of them. The locals, observing all this, were quite jealous of the boy because he was good-looking and had two gorgeous girls around him. Yuya paused for a moment to analyze the situation around him. There didn't seem to be any hostility. His attention was drawn to an interesting sign on one of the buildings, a wooden shield crossed by two swords. It turned out to be the symbol of an adventurer's guild. It would be interesting to learn more about it. Yuya had encountered a merchant guild before, but he was more talented in combat than in trading. Since he already had a trade guild card, why not get another one for the Adventurers Guild? Luna decided to register with Yuya and help him. They entered the building, which resembled a tavern. Inside, there were many people. The newcomers attracted a lot of attention. They were given ballots to fill out to join the guild. The form included a space to write down the magic abilities possessed by the applicant. Yuya wanted to avoid standing out too much, so he decided to write down only a couple of abilities. They were also supposed to indicate their level of magical power using a special ball provided. Luna had a yellow ball, indicating a medium level of ability. It was then Yui's turn. The ball shattered into pieces under his hand, revealing his incredible power. Although Yuya had tried to hide his exceptional abilities, it was clear to the registrar that he possessed extraordinary magic. The registrar had a few questions, especially about how he possessed 3 elements at once. Yuya didn't think it was rare, so he wrote that he had water, fire, and air abilities. Fortunately, the registrar wasn't aware that he had a couple more elements up his sleeve. After that, they received their long-awaited Adventurer Guild cards. Since they had just registered, they started at the lowest level. They would have various quests to complete. By accomplishing tasks and gathering resources or defeating a certain number of enemies, they could earn additional points to level up faster. There were also a couple of rules, such as not engaging in fights with other guild members, but only with monsters. The tavern was filled with many quests to choose from. Among the locals, there was a beautiful and assertive witch. Instantly, she ran up to the guy and tried to seduce him to spend some alone time. The girls tried to pull her away from their friend. The witch backed off but offered to go on a mission together with the boy someday. There were often tasks like collecting certain items. For example, a certain number of flowers, berries, and resources. So the guy would go out into the field to complete at least one quest. Lexia really enjoyed going with Yui because it was the only opportunity to forget about royal affairs and unwind in nature like a normal person. The princess suggested a competition between Luna and herself to see who could collect the most plants, with Yuya as the judge. The winner would have Yo-Ya for the day, and the loser couldn't interfere. While the boys lost sight of the knight, Lexia spotted him in the distance talking to someone. It was the informant who informed the knight that they had managed to find out the whereabouts of the prince who attacked the castle. He asked for Yui's help in catching and punishing the culprit. The girls were advised to return to the castle. Luna was to guard Lexia, and the princess was instructed not to do anything reckless. The boys headed to the provided coordinates. The assassins were all skilled fighters, and if a similar attack were to occur again with better preparation, there was a chance the royal guards might not be able to handle it. The prince was located in the mansion given to him by the king. Finally, they reached the huge building. It was suspiciously quiet. However, as soon as they opened the gate, one of the guards was instantly killed by a flying sword. Inside, it was dark, and a man with blonde hair had captured one of the knights. Yui jumped on top of him and freed the captive. The attacker wore a mask, concealing his identity. He attempted to escape, but his exit was blocked. He grew enraged and attacked the guards with even more fury. When he realized that further fighting was pointless, he threatened to take his own life. In truth, beneath the exterior of this ferocious criminal lay a broken little boy who despised himself. Yuya approached him, and they engaged in a fight. With the help of his pets, Yuya managed to outmaneuver him, disorient him, and knock him down. The prince was given the option to surrender, as he had no other choice. The knight thanked the boy for his assistance and praised his loyal pets, recognizing their tremendous support. As they were about to take the prince into custody, an explosion occurred, knocking some of them off their feet. It was caused by an unfamiliar girl who stated that the analysis of the situation had concluded in failure. Since they had failed, she no longer needed the prince, whatever that meant. Her original goal had been to place the prince on the throne to control him like a puppet. She planned to use his commands to initiate wars and commit mass genocide. Since she no longer required him, as he had not fulfilled his intended role, she decided to kill him. As she raised the knife above his head, ready to strike, Yuya reacted in time and knocked the weapon out of her hand. She began attacking the knights with multiple blades that seemed to materialize out of thin air. It felt as if they were facing an entire army, even though she was alone. Any attempt to confront her seemed futile, as she possessed the ability to see into the future and predict the enemy's attack.